Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk to you about something a little different, which I think I may have said a few times already. Okay, the thing I want to talk about is music. As you might know, I have recently started making music again, and the reason for this was these videos actually. Because YouTube copyright is very difficult, and basically you can't use any popular songs or anything like that. You always have to have a license to use the music, and finding free music can be really difficult. And lately I've needed like almost as much time for finding music as for editing, so it was getting really out of hand. I tried a subscription service called Epidemic, and the problem with that was, well, it didn't really make things easier, I have to say. The music was better than most of the royalty-free stuff I found, but at the same time it was also more generic, since this kind of music has to fit to a lot of content and not necessarily only to mine. So I found myself hearing songs that I've heard elsewhere so many times that I can't really hear them anymore. And yeah, it didn't really improve things. So in the end, the only solution that I had left was to make my own again. And yeah, for most people this is not really an option, but I used to make music some time ago, like 15 years ago. So this is where we come to the actual topic of this video, which is creative block. 15 years is a long time of not doing something, especially if you were as obsessed as I was with music. My life was music. All my friends were musicians. I used to make music all the time. From a very early age on, I went to music school to learn the most useless instrument ever, which is the recorder. And later on, I picked up the guitar, and well, while I was never very good at playing instruments, I'm reasonably okay with software. And I used to make a lot of music back then, which all got lost in a hard drive crash. And yeah, I did have backups. I did have backups of perfectly corrupted files that wouldn't open anymore, so well done. In any case, I was at an age where you take such things as a sign from the universe, so I stopped making music and concentrated on other things, including photography, for example. A long time I didn't make any music, and I really thought that part of my life was over. Completely over. Done. Finished. But I was wrong. Because right now, 15 years later, I'm suddenly making music again, and I'm having lots of fun with it. So creative blocks can be really annoying. I know that from photography. I go through it periodically, every few months. The winter months, usually. With photography, it's always the winter months. I also didn't draw for, well, probably also around 15 years, to be honest. And this stuff happens. People lose hope. People give up. People think they're not good enough. So maybe you can see this as a little motivational video saying, you never know when it's gonna come back. 15 years later, I now got myself a new guitar. It's a Squire, a Mustang. I got myself a new ukulele, which is the silliest word ever and surprisingly hard to pronounce. Ukulele, whatever, ukulele. It's the perfect instrument for me. I also got myself a new little MIDI keyboard that is so small that I can keep it near the bed so that I can play it in bed whenever I feel like. And yes, I play my instruments in bed. Don't judge me. So I'm now here 15 years later after the longest creative block of my life, and I'm back making music again. So if you think right now, I don't want to pick up a camera, I don't want to make music, I don't want to draw, I don't want to make anything, that's normal. And sometimes it takes a few years to get over it. Maybe you're out of ideas, maybe you need a break, maybe you need to focus on something else for a while. It happens to all of us. It's okay to take a break. I think that's something that in our day and age we sometimes forget, because social media requires us to share and share and share, and the algorithm usually punishes us if we stop sharing. The YouTube algorithm wants us to post like twice a week, and that's way too often. Instagram, Facebook, every single platform wants to have more and more and more content, but that's not how humans create. We need to recharge sometimes, and we forget that. And sometimes we need to get over the problems that we have with our self-esteem. I often see fellow photographers beating themselves up over not having picked up a camera for months. I myself have taken about 7 rolls this year, compared to 2016 where I shot more than 300 rolls. Is that a creative block? No, I don't think so. I'm just doing other stuff. I'm making videos, I'm making music, I'm making all sorts of other stuff. So it's okay to take a break sometimes and do something else. All of this eventually leads back to where you started. So don't be afraid of taking a break. Just do what you have to do to stay creative. Sometimes that means not creating for a while. Today I'm signing off in a bit of a different way than usually. Normally you just see me saying to like and subscribe and stuff like that, the usual YouTube stuff. But today I'm gonna do something a little different, which is to leave you off with a recording of when I was playing with my new MIDI controller and one of my recent tracks. You may have heard that track at the beginning of the last video. You've only heard a little bit of it so far because I didn't need that much of it. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, don't forget to like. Bye! And this is actually where we come to the actual topic of this video, which is sirens, apparently.
Ow.
I can't do this without laughing.